to actually say, I am here and I am self-aware of myself in this world and my actions, also with my group, with my community.
Mm-hmm.
Having that sort of consciousness shift, I think, is what also brought in the idea of maybe not art in the way that we understand it now, but a kind of communal, visual, also experiential, because a lot of times when those things happened, it happened in a kind of group activity.
Sure.
You know, like you know what I'm talking about.
Which,
It's connected to that idea of I'm here and I exist with these people, with these other eyes that also exist.
But I also think it's the same reason why social media is so important, like popular. I mean, we're still kind of doing that. And we have this immediacy now that we never really had before. And people do it because it is fun. I know I do it because it's fun too. But it's that constant need to kind of get the constant need to get the feedback. And we do put it down. But there's a reason that we kind of keep doing it and it's there. And, you know, folks do sort of get addicted because it is about just kind of needing this unconscious feedback around the world around you, and just and people do it in all their kind of different crazy ways. I mean, it's why our phones are completely chock full of, you know, there's no memory left because we're constantly taking pictures because we can now. Before it was so hard, but you know, had we had the iPhone 100 years ago, we would have still done it. Like, you know,
we would have
done the same thing. And it's that need to sort of get that feedback. But hey, speaking of social media, shall we tackle that as professional artists? Like, how do you go? Like, I mean, I really enjoy looking at your Instagram page. I mean, I always see Instagram. I love the view. I tend to view people like their different preferences. I like to see all of the different squares all in one to see how everything juxtaposes next to one another and it kind of changes.
The grid.
I like the grid, and I do, and I like, you know, your choices, and, you know, for me, the cyanotypes like kind of stood out there when I first looked at it, and it is like a little art piece in itself. I mean, and I'm curious to know about like how you go about using it. What are your thoughts around it?
I am, God, I don't enjoy social media, although some people close to me might believe that I like to post a lot, but I don't enjoy. I could live without it very easily.
Okay,
I could live without it, but I do feel like, well, I'll start by saying this: like, Instagram for me is not a catch-all. It's highly curated. My Instagram is highly curated with the people that I allow into my world, and I'm interested in people who are in the surf world that I find interesting, shapers for the most part, or other people who I know who like own a shop that I want to support, and art entities and people who make art, and that's it. I mean, I have a lot of friends who I do not allow into my Instagram feed because I just don't want to be inundated by things not relative to those subjects. But if you were to look at my Facebook page, is a complete disaster. I mean, it's everybody that I know, and it's pictures of waffles and my dog. And, you know, the bands that I like, and I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I post things about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's a hot mess.
I think everyone's Facebook page is a disaster.
Yeah, oh yeah, and plus everything else that comes along with it.
Everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I feel I talk about this with Chris all the time, and this could spin off into a really big discussion about the art market. But I feel like with the demise of a lot of brick and mortar galleries and like the mid-tier market, that artists are left to just throw things out there on their own and become their own best self-promoters. And you can either choose to do it or not do it. And if listen, my wife is a fantastic painter. I love her work. I love her work, and I love her her drawings and everything, but she's just she's very private about her work, you know, and if she does put something out there, it's of substance, and it's a statement, you know, where me, like, I put things out there as part of my thought process, and I like to get feedback.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you think? Does this suck? Should I not be doing this? Or is it good? I don't know, you know, and I think you can use it for a lot of different, you can use it for commerce, you can use it for feedback, critical feedback, you can use it socially.
Information gathering.
Yeah. I feel like I throw things out into the world and see what sticks, you know. But like when you talk about like that grid format on Instagram, I try to curate it so, you know, our short attention spans can understand what I'm doing in a very short scroll of the iPhone surface, you know.
Yeah. Kris Chatterson, did you want to add anything to that?
Kris is very savvy. Kris is very, very media savvy. So
maybe, but I kind of look at Instagram like you have your own radio station or your own TV station, and you choose what you're broadcasting out there, and you can shape your feed to focus on showing just that one thing. So like I have an art account that I only show art on, and it's basically become a substitute for a website, because I don't know, does anyone use websites? I'm really asking. I don't know.
I have a website that you can cross-pollinate. I like the cross-pollination of like Instagram to website.
Yeah, I like that too. Because I know that if the Instagram is a way that I like might discover someone, or and then I'll go onto their website to get more details, find out how you can order a book, or I find that I like
my website's like years old and hasn't been updated, so maybe I'll get on that. But I depending on how you want to engage with Instagram, and that's the only thing I do. I don't do anything else. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. Nothing, just Instagram. But depending on how you want to engage with it, you can use it, as you were saying, Kris, as like a rapid feedback, put things out quickly, get feedback quickly, or you can use it almost as an archive of what you're up to. On my art account, I post every Friday, which when we're done with this, I'll go and do my post. And I just stick to that once a week schedule, and I'll either post something new or something that's a little older, and then just leave it there. But you know, often, especially if it's something a little older, there'll be conversations about that time or the show that it was in, or if it's something new, it'll be like, oh, this is what you're up to, I want to see more, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious, as in both of you being professional artists, so like how you use it, and you know, your thoughts about it, because I mean it's tricky. I mean, everyone puts everything up on there. I mean, it's so vast, it's so big, and you know, it morphs into different things. You could use it as a sketchbook, you could use it as a tool, you can use it obviously to, you know,
I have used it as a sales tool inadvertently. It kind of became one when I started my Surfy art editions. I posted a couple. This was a few years ago, and then people were just DMing me, how much,
right?
And can you send one to me? So then I did another post. I have this many, they're this much each, and then I got DMs and I sold them all, and it was like, whoa. Then it kind of changed my mind as to what it could be. So it's potentially a sales tool if you already have an audience and you're selling something that's reachable and approachable for that audience.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't, I haven't, but you know, in the back of my head, I should. You know, I'm no longer working, you know, exclusively with any one gallery. And I think using a combination of the different media vehicles to take control of revenue streams that you can generate for yourself is the future. Well, it's the now. It's not the future. It's the now. I mean, it's the type of gallery structure that existed when Kris and I were in graduate school and like, you know, moving our way through the art world in New York City. It exists, but it only exists I believe it only exists on like a much higher level, like a blue chip level. I mean, mid-tier galleries. I mean, do they even have stables of artists with exclusives anymore? I mean, I'm not even sure that model exists anymore. I think people are independent contractors in a way.
Similar people who are like self-publishing their books now and using crowdfunding to self-publish their books because they want to have a little bit more of the freedom, but I
don't mean to interrupt. If you have a built-in audience that's already interested in what you're doing, I think that's doable. And I think where Kris and I are in our careers, we have a kind of audience, and I found that if I make multiples, so an addition that will bring down the price, people that wanted something instead of the, you know, however much for a huge painting, man, that's great, but A, I don't have a house big enough, and B, I can't afford it. But you have this print is killer. I can put that on my wall and I can afford it. To me, that's more meaningful because fundamentally as an artist, you want people to have your work. You want it to be in someone's house, hanging next to whatever it is and being a part of their day. I mean, that's why I have art, you know?
I agree.
That's what I love about it.
I agree. I mean, there was a point in my career where, you know, my artwork was expensive, and not even expensive by any means. I mean, to me, it was it was an expense for anyone who wanted to buy it, right? And now, I mean, I'll give my work away. I'm more happy to have created it and for someone else to have it in their life, so that it will live on and someone else will really find joy in it.
I think that's like a really good place to start to, it feels like a really good place that we could wrap things up. I mean, I'm curious, Kris, you said that you were almost done with a film or a video that you're working on. You know, can you tell us a little bit about when we can expect that, or what are your next steps?
I don't know if we can wrap up on that. It's pretty heavy.
Oh no. Oh, no.
I have a thought. There's a theme that I see that runs through a lot of your work, Kris, which is endurance and duration.
Yes.
And it's endurance on your part, you know, the water drawings being one, the contour drawings, the ones where you're really putting your body to its paces. You know, you're really out there. But then even in the contour line drawings of the coasts, that's a different kind of endurance. That's a different focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were mentally and physically painful to make. Yeah.
But then there's that flips onto us, the viewer, the audience. We're also enduring it along with you. And we don't get the payoff unless we ride it out.
Unless we commit to it.
You know, it's funny that you're saying that because like that goes right back to the Hudson River bump and grind video that was my longest video at that moment in time. It was roughly under 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to myself and a couple of artist friends, like, you know, this is not something that can be appreciated or understood in a 3-minute clip. And I know that our brains are being trained to digest things very quickly. And maybe our habits are being changed to digest things and be bored with things very quickly. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck them. Yeah, I'm serious. And I remember